So thank you very much again for inviting me to be here. I'm a senior lecturer at UCL in the department as Civil Environmental and Geomatical Engineering. I am a civil and environmental engineer, so I'm more a water and sanitation person looking at the technologies and also developing interventions to reduce exposure risk to a wide range of pathogens. So my presentation here, I will give you an overview about the container-based sanitation, which is the novel maybe utility that's been born in the 21st century or maybe evolved. And also I will talk briefly about a research project that I have. I'm supervising at the moment with my student Eva McKinnon here, looking at developing a framework to reduce the exposure in container-based sanitation. So for those who doesn't know what container-based sanitation is, it's on our left-hand side here, we have the famous Moe earth toilet from the middle 1800, right? And from the left side here, right-hand side, we have the container-based sanitation, these three. As you can see, we say that this container-based sanitation is evolved from the 1800s. Obviously, looking at different, but because on that time, obviously the toilets of the kings as well, and if you will find very interesting toilets, similar toilets in this toilet museum, right, in Austria. They share really similarities there. Also, from the most version, the operator would collect the night soil. They have the night soil companies that they would collect the waste at night. For the container-based sanitation, it's different because they do during the daylight. So how CBS works? So similar to the Moe's toilet, the waste is contained at the user interface, and then once it's full, right, a company, the business, the CBS business who run that system, comes and collect, change the cartridge, what they call the cartridge. The toilet usually is a urine diverting toilet, so has a container for the feces and one for the urine. And so sometimes the urine is not collected by the company, but discharged used by the household as they want. Sometimes the company can also collect it. So the operators, they come to the household, clean the toilet, change the cartridge, and leave the toilet clean for the household. This is for a fee value. The household has to pay a fee, and I will talk about a little bit the cost later. The operators, then, they have to transport that waste. So usually they have the little truck, a way that they can carry the clean containers and the dirty containers, and then they take to the municipal wastewater treatment, or they can have a waste treatment site where they will process the waste, and each CBS companies are treating the waste differently. Some of them, they do composting. Some of them, they are doing biogas. And the other ones I work with like fuels, right, briquettes for heating. Again, to show here how it's similar to the night soil company, just to show the people carrying the night soil at night, but with the difference that the modern, you see the same type of a truck, and this is the modern version of CBS company collecting the waste. This is also a team from Sanitation First in India. This is from Kenya in Navash in Kenya. So this is to show you that it's becoming a global sanitation solution in many parts of the world already. You see in X-Runner is in Chile, no, Lima, Peru. Clean Team is in Ghana. Luwot, which is a UK company, is operating in Madagascar. So each of them, today they have formed, most of them, they have formed a coalition. Why they have formed a coalition? They call themselves CBS Alliance. They have formed that coalition to learn from themselves in order to scale up the solution as well. So you can see in the previous slides that the CBS solution looks at the whole sanitation chain. It's not only providing the toilets, but also collecting and treating the waste in a way that we will to reduce the risk. This is just to show the user interface type of toilets being designed and developed by some of the companies that I mentioned before. So the difference, I said to yourselves that most of them are urine diverting toilets, but Luot, for example, they collect both waste in a single plastic bag, which is then carried to a treatment facility to produce biogas, and also they are looking at composting as well. The Sanitation First and Synergy, for example, they also provide us the sanitation, the shelter of the toilet, right? So, and some only provide the toilets. How CBS is flexible? You can see here, this is from Clean Team. Clean Team is a company supported by WhatsApp and Unilever. They operate in Kumasi. They have about 2,000 customers. And as you can see, because the toilet, sometimes the user, they don't have a space where they're going to put the toilet. So some people decide to put on their living room, or maybe they cover the space with some piece of curtains. But it's very flexible for the user to decide. If they buy in the idea, they can use anywhere where they want. Costs, some costs. This cost is being collected through personal communication, also consultation with their websites. Okay, so for comparison here, you can see that obviously the service per household, it varies, right? So for example, from the Clean Team, compared with the Sanivation, it's around $8 per month. Although for many, many people, it's still not affordable. Lots of people, they cannot pay $8 per month. And obviously, some of the toilets, in terms of the units, are not available, some are available, but some, for example, the Sanitation First, that unit, you saw that they build the shelter, and also they share with the community. It's a more communal toilet rather than a household toilet. So this work here, recently published by WhatsApp and EE, you can find out more. They have come up with this interesting, looking at the cost, how they could scale up, how the CBS would survive, right? They have shown here if the municipality buy in the idea and contribute monthly from 20,000 to 120,000 per month, the CBS monthly per household will decline from $6 to $1 per month. So it is very important to have the buy-in of the governments. Otherwise, it will be very difficult and challenging for us to make it a universal option to everybody. And to scale up, also, we see some challenges there. Okay, so let's think about what are the key challenges of the CBS. So the first of all, I mentioned before, is the buy-in by the government. If the government buy the idea, they will solve the problem of the finance, that the operators are still having problems with, for example, covering the whole cost of operation and maintenance, and affordability also by the users. Acceptance is another problem because, as you saw, some of the toilets, they are pedestal, the others are pedestal squatting toilets. Some People may prefer squatting, others prefer wiping. So culture needs to be understanding, and people need also to accept. So there is one element of behavior and acceptance there that needs to be looked at. Regulatory standards of the design. So, for example, the CBS Alliance, they are looking at how they can improve the design of the toilet. And also an interesting aspect that we are looking at in our PhD project with Eve is aspects of the safe management of the system. As you saw, there is a large contact with the waste, in particular for the operator who goes to the different householders, right, collecting the waste from different households. Maybe the household, one of the household members are sick and the operator would not know. And so we are looking here, what are the risks there and how to reduce those risks in terms of supporting the scaling up of this approach. So talking about our PhD at UCL, the aim, as I mentioned, is to develop the framework to manage the health risks during the use and operation of the container-based sanitation. So we have done adaptation so far of the SSP, Sanitation Safety Planning, which use this systematic approach of mapping the risk, doing hazard identification, risk analysis, and then control measures. Although there is not the complete, we needed to adapt it because SSP look more at catchment area and most for wastewater than and for the utility as well, usually is the one who applies. This project is funded, is an impact studentship funded by UCL and Unilever. So thanks to them, we are running this project. We are looking at hopefully four different case studies. The first one was in Kenya, in Naivasha. With sanitation, we have already identified the risk and identified the control measures. We have looked at the control points, identifying also, we used through a camera, video camera, that Eva spent there, I think I can remember, good few weeks there, collect the data, but the operator had to wear a camera on his helmet, right? And all the routine was videographed and then translated into data that we are looking at. So we also did this, looking at the surface of the toilets and also not on the surface of the toilet. And so we did the determination, quantitative study determining E. coli. Due to resource constraint, we look only at E. coli. Unfortunately, we could look at Ascaris. So London is an interesting case study because London, the canal boats in London, they use a similar approach of the container-based sanitation. So we want to learn what's happening with the canal boats in London that is different from the CBS community being used in developing countries. This London research was funded by a small award that we got from UCL Beacon, and we can talk later about that because the time is running out. So we are looking future for collecting data in India and in Haiti with soil and sanitation first, and looking particularly at the monitoring program once the CBS company is using the control measures. How CBS is good why CBS is good for the SDGs? As I mentioned, because first it's look the whole sanitation chain, and it's a portable system appropriate to high density area, high water table area, if it's a rocky area, etc. And I mentioned it's a sanitation as a service, so it's not a technology, opportunity to recover nutrients and also costs, so it's financially attractive as you have seen. So that's it from me. Thank you very much.